Alrighty guys, welcome back to another LEGO set review from BrickByBrick, and today we have the LEGO Marvel Iron Man helmet set number 76165, containing 480 pieces and retailing for a total of $60 in the United States, which is the same price as the Star Wars helmet sets, though interesting thing to note is this one is a lot thinner in box size than the Star Wars helmets. The back of the box looks pretty good as well. I like the overall 18 plus design with the red border on the bottom, and they do actually use some Marvel themed pieces on the Bling design, which is interesting. You got the helmet there and the spider web on the other side, but yeah, the overall design of this is pretty good, and this box looks pretty nice on the shelf. Definitely catches your eye. It does use the Iron Man logo, as well as an Avengers logo there. And interesting thing is that there's no Iron Man logo on the plaque. It's an Avengers plaque. So either maybe that means that we're going to get more Avengers helmets in the future, or it just means nothing and it's just another inconsistency. But also have the same Iron Man logo on the box top, and an Iron Man helmet picture on the side, and a logo on the other side. The one other thing that's interesting here is the instruction book is actually really cool looking. You got this hologram looking Iron Man helmet. It doesn't just show the set on the front of the instructions, which is kind of neat. And then we have a 2-page spread on Iron Man, which is then repeated in other languages. And then you do have the nice little black background for building, which is kind of cool and makes it feel a little bit more premium and sort of like an architecture set. And then at the end, you have the architecture style feedback and win thing, which is kind of cool. Just makes it feel like a little bit of a more mature product. And then you have the completely plain back, which is pretty neat. And then this is a QR code that they've done recently to allow you to just scan and pull up the instructions on your mobile device. So here's the thing all built up, and the first thing to note is that the majority of this gold here is metallic gold, which is cool, and it looks really good and pretty eye-catching on display. It'll obviously reflect very shiny, because it is very shiny. The stand here is the same style exactly used in the Star Wars helmets. Built exactly the same way, exactly as you'd expect. There's one slight color variation, which is this gray there, which in the that's part of the stand that you're seeing, and in the Star Wars ones, that's black. Which honestly, I think they should have kept it black, because it would have at least made it look like it's part of the stand. Instead, now we just have that weird gray showing through from the outside, which I don't know, I don't like that too much. Maybe if they could have done it in dark red, that would have been great. It would have blended in perfectly. I don't think that part exists in dark red, and maybe they decided dark red is too fragile plastic in order, or for them to be able to justify doing it in dark red. But I don't know. There's just a little bit of weirdness going on in there with the gray. You can see a little bit of other gray in other places, which I can forgive that with the ball joint right there, because it is a ball joint, and it's mostly hidden from most angles. But that just bugs me a little bit. The actual printed stand here down on the bottom, that's pretty good. I appreciate that. That looks fine. Helps make it stand out just a little bit. Moving up a little bit, I like, it's a little bit controversial, the face here. Some people really like it, some people really hate it. For the most part, I like it. I think there are certain angles where it's weird from, like this angle that I'm looking at it from, which is more of an up here. I think that angle is pretty alright, maybe even a little bit further up. Yeah, like that. That looks pretty good. When you come down here a little bit, you kind of get the pronounced edges here above the eyes, which that's not so good. But from most angles, I think this looks okay. Again, from a straight-on side view, that's a little bit weird. Like this corner here is the part that is a little strange, as well as these gaps down here in the bottom. And they don't even they don't put any plates on this wedge plate here, so it doesn't attach upwards to the front. And as a result, first of all, it's a little bit fragile if you take this off the stand and try to display it that way, which I'll show you in just a second. But I've had those fall off doing that. So other than that, this works if you take it off the stand. But I do like how they've kind of got this angle made around the bottom, you're able to pretty effectively angle those. Again, this gap here looks pretty decent from about all angles until you get to like here where you start to see the colors on the inside. I just wish they would have maybe even just put a black plate and tile in there just to block that up so you can't see as far in. And it's stuff like that where, I don't know, this one feels like it's not quite as good as the Star Wars ones. It feels like they accepted a lower level of quality here. Which, for the most part, I think that this is still a pretty decent display piece. It's just, there's weird stuff like that. Weird small decisions made that kind of add up. Anyway, these in here are those 2x3 curved slopes, and they have stickers on them for the eyes. And, that looks pretty okay. They're a little bit far back, but, from most angles, again, I can accept it. It's just this weird ledge on the top that makes it a little bit strange. These pieces here are newly molded in the set in this metallic gold color, and I believe the triangular tiles are as well, which these are angled on here with those Star Wars shield pieces, which is kind of cool. And they don't have 1x3 plates and 1x1 plates in metallic gold, but instead of molding it in metallic gold, which I kind of get why they didn't, because, it has the studs on the top, so those wouldn't work out super duper well. But they do print on the side of a tan plate with this metallic gold printing. Under this heavy lighting here, you can see the difference, but in normal room lighting, it looks pretty good. I think you can see it on video, definitely, but that's not as apparent when you don't have a light shining bright on it. So, maybe for your display that's a problem, because maybe you want to display it with bright lights on it, but if you don't, then it should be mostly fine. Again, they also do that with 1x2 plates here on the front in those two spots. So, I don't know. Maybe it would have been nice if they could have just molded it in metallic gold, but maybe that wouldn't have been super durable. There's a really slight ridge right there, which doesn't bother me too much, and it's pretty much invisible from most angles. I do like how they angle this whole front section in, although that does leave a small kind of unsightly gap up here, though that doesn't bother me that much. These are those new 3x3 round tiles, and they are an exclusive print to this set. They're the same on both sides, you just flip the actual part, and turning it around, I like the overall shaping on the sides, and on the back is pretty good. I don't like that these studs are hollow, but, I guess, it, worked out for them to just use the larger part to reduce the overall part count, and, that, again, that's a minor nitpick there. You can see throughout this, under heavy lighting again, that some of the dark reds are not super duper perfectly color matched, but, that's sort of a minorish nitpick. Again, a little bit more metallic gold on the back, and if we turn this to the top, you can see it is built up and rounded out. In the same sort of style that you see on the Star Wars ones. Though, again, I think that it is a little bit weird that, from the side, it's not nearly as consistently steady. But for the most part, I think that this is a pretty decent model. I know I've kind of talked a lot about it because there's kind of a lot of minor nitpicks that you can make, but the look that I kind of like for this a little bit better is when you take it and plop it off the stand and put it on the ground. I don't know, just something about having the whole face angled backwards. I guess you do see it like this in the movies several times, but something about having the helmet angled backwards like that just does something right for me. I don't know what it is exactly, but overall, I think that this look is pretty decent from an angle about like this. It's like that angle or like that angle, I think, is pretty good. And I guess the other piece that is new in metallic gold for the set is this spoiler piece right there. And I guess I should mention that you can angle it and open up Iron Man's mouth, which is a little bit creepy. And if you do that, then this just looks kind of crazy and sort of demon possessed, maybe mildly. But yeah, that's it for the Iron Man helmet. I guess I should give you one last look comparison to the Boba Fett one. It is basically the same size thing. The Boba Fett one's slightly taller in helmet size, but it's lowered a little bit further down on the stand. So they basically take up the same amount of display space, and as a result, I think $60 is fair for the Iron Man helmet. I do think that if you are just going to buy one helmet, then Iron Man helmet's probably only the way to go if Iron Man is actually like your favorite character. Even then, you'll be sort of maybe mildly disappointed by it. Like, I think it's fine, and from a distance it looks pretty good. But when you start to kind of inspect those smaller little details, try and pin this to a certain Iron Man suit, you really can't, because it's got small little elements of a bunch of them, and apparently it was designed that way, which I guess I can sort of see the logic behind it, because it is just Iron Man. And yeah, this does look Iron Man, but, you know, for an adult collector piece, it sort of feels like you'd want a very specific one, because, you know, if you're a collector who likes Iron Man, then you're probably going to actually know quite a bit about Iron Man, and you're going to want to be able to pinpoint this to a certain scene or a certain armor, at least. One other thing that maybe could have helped with value is if they included an exclusive Iron Man armor that had a helmet that was designed to look like this. You know, maybe had even the black gaps on the side and everything. I don't know, I feel like they missed the mark on several things, but this overall will make a pretty decent display piece alongside the other helmets. So, you know, I'm okay with the price for that. Feels a little bit like maybe they should have either priced this a little bit lower, or, you know, actually gone in and made it as accurate as they possibly could. And I guess it's possible that this is as accurate as they could get, and they tried doing other Iron Man like armors and trying to make it as specifically perfect compared to the suit as they possibly could, and just couldn't. So they're like, well, this is the best we can do, so let's just not say it's based on a specific armor, and that way all these small little errors you can sort of point to and say, oh, that's from a different thing. Which I don't know if I super agree with that either, but, you know, end of the line is it looks kind of cool on display, and if you like Iron Man and you want something that looks kind of cool on display, this is a thing for you. If that's not what you're after, if you want something super accurate, then you'll probably be a little disappointed. But, you know, even if I was slightly disappointed by it, I think it's still okay in the long run. So, I don't know, this was a long video that kind of sat here for a long time, and I'll probably try and edit some of that down. But, you know, hopefully I sort of got my point across, and, you know, it is a very nuanced point on this one. And I kind of have a little bit of mixed feelings, and you probably do too, but I am interested to know what you guys think of this one. So let me know in the comments down below, and I'll see you guys all next time. Bye, everyone.